VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go, off and running on a Thursday afternoon. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard. We're live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Busy 3-hour program lined up today. Of course, Thursday Night Football. We'll get into a bunch of the props. Latest on the injury front that we know as we speak. Aaron Rodgers historically playing at night and on Thursday Night Football. We have Paul Charchian in 30 minutes, Fantasy Football Hall of Famer, with props on the game for tonight and for Sunday. Steve Wiss, best bets in soccer this weekend. And Brad Powers, 2 full segments talking college football. Massive card coming up this weekend. We'll get his thoughts on best bets at this point. How you feeling today?
All right, feeling good. Interesting game. Pennant races, choke jobs all over the place, base running blunders, props galore. Mu Deng, I'm here. I love it.
I will say that I think a pretty bad beat just happened in one of the baseball games. It finished, 2 minutes ago. First of all, the Orioles were very lucky to actually get out of the ninth inning with a tie because they were in a precarious situation and it looked like the Giants could explode, and it was tied at 3-3, and they got out of it. So runners were on across the board, and then a 2-run shot to end it, bottom of the ninth, to cover the run line.
Yep.
Just moments ago.
Covered the run line.
Are you serious?
1 on, 2 out, 2 strikes. And that ends their drought, 10 of 12 games, 3 runs or fewer. So they finally at least get that done. They were so lucky because, again, the bullpen spit it up, but the outfielders collided on a fly ball, yet the Giants couldn't take advantage and only went from first to second on it, and then yada, 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 double play. So it's just, forget about the futures that we have on them. It's just infuriating to watch that they sat there and didn't make significant moves again when it was right there. And like, who's playing well? Who can you trust? The whole league's wide open, and they didn't do anything. It's a joke.
Pauly, the anger sharks have been swirling now for 3 months.
Right.
I can't imagine living back in that area. I don't even know how many times I've said that on the show. I cannot imagine being an Orioles fan living in the Baltimore area. I would hate the organization.
Yep.
They're blowing it again for the second consecutive year. And I actually bet them, one of our listeners/viewers to the show today pointed out, take a peek at the Orioles to get the 6th seed. I bet them 70-1. Thank you for the tip on that.
Sure.
I don't even care if it comes in. It's a great observation. They lose that game today, they could lose out. Right. I don't know. The way this team is trending.
Oh, yeah. They finished with Detroit, the Yankees, and the Twins. Like 2-7, something like that's in play. And you're right, imagine if they had lost the game. So, yeah, well, you're saying, well, 4.5 up, whatever, but it's just, the way they're playing. And if Detroit sweeps them or the Yankees sweep them, suddenly that has juice. And the fact that, are we sure they're even going to make the playoffs? Stranger things have happened here, and they're playing horrendous baseball.
Well, stranger things could happen, as in, like, the Tigers could win the American League pennant.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the way that team is going. All right, so then as for the game tonight, across the screen right now, I do see mostly 6 on the Jets in this game. FanDuel has 6.5 at various juice, a different juice, I should say, on this matchup tonight. Total is 38.5, and that really hasn't budged. The biggest storyline, well, first of all, the Jets have 2 guys out. Well, Johnson's out. Mosley looks like game time. So that could be obviously 2 key defenders. However, on the offensive side for the Patriots, they're going to be down 2 offensive linemen with a chance, and it hasn't been updated here recently, with a chance of missing 4 guys on the starting O-line tonight. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe at some point during this show we'll have more information. I know I bet Ramondre Stevenson and his rushing attempts over earlier in the week based on the Jets' run defense and how many times he's carried the ball so far this year. If they're missing 4 guys on the O-line, I don't like that bet nearly as much as when I bet it, I think it was 2 days ago now.
I know, and everyone's betting that. Everyone's betting the Stevenson over, and I see the Hall has come down as well. But it's an intriguing game and a huge game, and as Sal would say, gotta-have-it game. Because the Jets are finally at home. Everything you've talked about, tough schedule to start, and the road games in the Monday night, and now the Patriots, also short week off an overtime game. But can you exercise the demons? I mean, you finally ended that draw. They lost 15 in a row to them. They finally won in last year in a game no one played and no one cared about. But 3-23 straight up since the start of 2011. I mean, you also look at this, they're $1.70 to make the playoffs.
Hold on, what's 3-23 straight up?
They're 3-23 straight up against the Patriots since 2011. Yeah. It's a joke.
I got another nugget on that, by the way, that I can add here in a minute about the Patriots in the spot that they're in.
Right. So can you make the playoffs if you win this, it's doable coming up. But these are the games you have to have because it's a front-loaded schedule. So you Arizona, Indy, Pittsburgh, New England again coming up, Vikings in London. If you're going to make the playoffs, you got to win games like this, and the Patriots are supposed to be a laughingstock. They've been a surprise, but again, they've embarrassed you and had your number for a long, long time. This is a game you got to win, and you got to take. And the other thing too about we just ripped the Orioles. Can you become serious and get the whole Reddick thing's in a debacle? What's going on with that, too? With Johnson out for the year,
no doubt.
You certainly could use him. So you trade for him, and he's just going to sit there and not play. It's a joke.
Well, you traded for the guy knowing that when you made the deal, he was going to ask for a big contract. What has changed? Why would you make the deal going into it knowing that he was going to ask for that?
Yep.
If you're unwilling to sign him to a big deal. Anyway, so we have some conflicting trends tonight. One, teams in this spot for the Jets. 3 games, 10 days. Not great. 5-8 straight up, 4-9 ATS in the last 13 opportunities. I think that only goes back to like 19. The league doesn't do this to teams very often, where the Jets played the opening Monday, then a Sunday, and then a Thursday. So Monday, Sunday, Thursday turnaround doesn't happen very often, but 4-9 ATS going back in this spot. However, there's this, what they have going for themselves tonight. The Patriots now playing on a Thursday after a Sunday overtime game. It's very uncommon, but last 20 years, teams to play in an overtime game and then have to play on 3 days rest or less versus a team who didn't play overtime the week previously, 6-18 straight up, 3-21 ATS. That's what the Patriots are looking at tonight.
Yeah.
So which one is more difficult here?
I know. Where were you going to go earlier? Was it what the Jets are laying against the Patriots? How long?
Well, that one right there, but then also on top of that, it's all Brady and Belichick.
Yeah, right. But they haven't been laying this number in 24 years.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing. You're right. It has been Brady and Belichick. But still, the Jets had good teams there, though. They were playoff teams a couple years.
Yeah, but
Sometimes,
come on, it was a 20-year dynasty with New England.
Yeah, I know, but 3-23, come on. So what would you need for Rodgers to throw for 300 yards?
Oh, a number that doesn't even exist.
It's only 7-1.
There's no way.
He hasn't done it since 2021.
No way.
That's the other thing. So, listen, they're playing fundamental football. They haven't turned the ball over yet, the Patriots. 170 yards rushing in both games. The run defense has been stout, and they've won the time of possession in both games, too. So, again, this is a new NFL. No one scores, low scoring, trust the kicker, maybe force a turnover and try catch a break, which didn't happen last week, but it almost did. They lose in overtime to Seattle. Mayo made a blunder, punting 4th and 1, but certainly they had a lot of success throwing on this defense, and we'll see if the Jets can get something going with Rodgers tonight.
Okay, so I went back and looked at Rodgers, and I will raise my hand. I've been guilty of this. I was saying in the preseason, what if Aaron Rodgers can find his 2021 form? Not 2022, 2021. He went back-to-back MVPs, 2020 and 2021. That's a long time ago. So 2022, last full healthy season with him. His high passing mark in 2022 was 291 yards. Pauly, I'll ask you right now, how many other games did he throw for at least 250 yards that year? Take out the high game, 291. I'm just 250. Baseline number, Minshew's the only guy to do it twice this year. How many times?
Right. 4?
2 other games.
Yay.
So that his prop tonight this is unbelievable to me. Mm-hmm. We've had this in our heads for a long time that Rodgers goes out there 300 yards every game. Uh-huh. His prop is 214.5 tonight. In 2022, he only went over 214.5 yards 10 times out of 17 games. So he went under tonight's number 7 times in a full regular season. There's no way I would have ever guessed that.
I know. That's well done.
Those are very low passing numbers.
Who does he throw to now? I mean, is it all Wilson? Mike Williams finally had a catch last week?
Yeah, because look at what happened to the Seahawks last week, for the Seahawks.
Yeah, they spread it around?
Metcalf and JSN went crazy.
They
Both
did.
guys had awesome games.
Yes.
Maybe a little Lazard tonight and Wilson.
Okay, he's only 29.5 yards. And you know where I'm going. I've been on this since day one. It's all been about the kickers. Greg the Leg is $1.30 over 1.5 made field goals. You can also bet the kicker points as well and do the alts and the other stuff. And you can do same-game parlays. Like if Greg the Leg makes 3 and Sly makes 2, you're talking like a 6 plus 650 return there as well. So Sly's minus 120 over 1.5. But I would think Greg DeLay goes over 1.5 made field goals also. And the ship is also sailed. I mean, opening kickoff to be a touchback is now minus 360.
Oh, boy.
It was plus 280 to start the year. And the under 3.5 kickoff returns for the game is now minus $2. And
Sure.
you just said it's carried away. Nothing we can do now. It's absurd.
Have you seen, like, any alternate field goals in the game? Have you seen 3.5? Have you seen maybe 4.5?
Yeah.
Is it still plus money and over 3.5?
Get that, yeah. Combined?
Yeah, 3.5 combined.
That's even money. That's even money.
That might
now.
still be worth a bet.
But that's right. So now, that's 29-3 to the over, 2.5. That's significant juice.
Yeah.
And then the 3.5 is 25-7. You're talking about an average plus 115 on that. It's even now because, word's getting around on that too.
Well, it's not going to be even if this week, the whole week overall, continues to be like the first 2 weeks, that even money, you can kiss it goodbye. Mm-hmm. There is this with Rodgers. He's played 16 career games on Thursday. He's 11-4-1 ATS, including 9-4-1 ATS on Thursday night as a favorite of 4 points or more. In that spot, he's 8-1 ATS. And he is 24-10 ATS versus division opponents in night games during his career. I remember that with Green Bay. He would, during the nighttime games, but his division was also crappy. Patriots kind of crappy.
Yep.
He would take teams out in a body bag inside their division.
Got to see it tonight. Did not play well again last week. Fortunate to get the win, and the Levis horrible turnover again. Let's see some offense. Let's see him spread it around, and God forbid Hackett makes some adjustments. But let's see it. You're supposed to be.
That's possible.
You're supposed to be a playoff team, and you got to get hot here and win 3 or 4 in a row. And definitely the schedule sets up for you to do it.
Are you confident Salah leading this team can win the game tonight?
I don't have any confidence in the coaching staff, but I like the talent in the roster.
All right, win-lose up next, and we'll get into today's Major League Baseball card coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big, we go all night, and here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
VSiN is thrilled to introduce a new VSiN.com tailor-made to the evolved needs of today's sports bettors. Our upgraded navigation streamlines your journey, allowing you to swiftly access articles, videos, and podcasts. Whether you're tuning in live or catching up on your favorite shows, everything is just a click away. VSiN.com guarantees a fluid and responsive experience across all devices, ensuring you stay connected wherever you are. We have enhanced tools such as our betting splits and expert picks, and introduce innovative features like parlay and odds calculators, all designed to make you a sharper bettor. Our How to Bet section is perfect for beginners, covering the fundamentals, while seasoned bettors can delve into our advanced betting strategies for the competitive edge you've been looking for. Sign up for free on VSiN.com or become a VSiN Pro subscriber, where you can unlock unlimited access to every tool, expert picks, and insight that make VSiN the sports betting network.
Want to see who at VSiN is on a hot streak? Go to VSiN.com/picks to see all the selections and weekly leaderboard of VSiN hosts, writers, and guests. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber and get every pick sent to your inbox daily. Just head to VSiN.com/pro.
Responsible sports betting starts with a game plan. That means stick to a budget. Keep it social, learn the game, and know the odds. Play with legal operators, and if you need help, reach out. Visit haveagameplan.org to learn more.
last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
What a night. Again, the props in baseball. Most runs, most strikeouts, highest scoring game. Pepio gets it done, 15-1. The fourth, I couldn't believe this, the fourth immaculate inning in Rays history. 1-2-3K, 1-2-3K, 1-2-3K. Can't believe it's happened that many times. Haven't been around that long. That's hard to do.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. There's always something going on.
Sportsbooks offer that, by the way.
Immaculate inning?
I think that might be during playoff games.
Nice.
Yeah.
Most runs, dead heat. Mets 27-1, Cardinals 17-1. Giants plus 150 winner. A's plus 150 winner. Respect the organization. The Brewers did it again. For the sixth time in the last 7 years, they make the playoffs. And for the third time in the last 4 years, they win the division. They were 11-1 at Caesars and William Hill, 10-1 at the Westgate, and a loser here at Circa. Congratulations, and they ran away with it. Wasn't even close.
Now let's hope they lose the game today, because I immediately fired on the Diamondbacks last night.
Oh, you have to. If you lose your bet, you're not even upset.
No, God, no.
Pounding beers, getting after it right away, heavy drinking.
Smoking going on last night.
Not going to play anybody.
For what it's worth, we have, 15, 20 cents of CLV at this point. You know, it made sense to fade them immediately as soon as the numbers came out.
Yeah. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com. Our radio and podcast friends, you always want to see these tweets and videos. He is owning the internet and social media. It's Mu Deng, the baby hippo in Thailand. It means a lot. He's always got his mouth open. He's always moving. Look at that body, right? He's got the fun. There he is. Oh, he's taking a nap. He's okay. He's just doing he's taking a nap and he still moves. He loves the baths. Always got his mouth open. And they're right, little slippery. Can't get up there as well. But Mu Deng, the views are crazy. People can't get enough of him. You like Mu Deng?
Is it Deng?
Yeah.
Is it like a play on Llewellyn Deng? Is that what it is?
There he is. He got mad at the keeper. He turns his back around, so he hits him in the butt. And
right, it rhymes. That was my first thought. Okay, all right.
Sure, yeah, biting the keeper. That'll be dangerous in a couple of years. The owners here are like, hey, our neighbors are surprised when they come over, but, the dogs have their own bed. What's the problem? And they always like to cuddle with us, and here they have their own room. And there they go, sleeping. They got their pillows. They got their beds. They got their sheets. Nap time. Own bedroom, own bed, everything with the dogs. That's how you treat them.
Can I tell you that we've tried to create something like this before?
Have you?
Not their actual own beds, but we'll get like mattresses or cushions or whatever, and then they lay on it for 30 seconds, and then they're done with it.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to go lay on the floor instead.
Okay. Well, lose some. It finally came to an end. The Orioles get the walk-off to get over 3, but 3 runs or fewer, 10 of their last 12. They just walked it off against the Giants, somehow covered the run line 5-3. White Sox lose again. Now they go to San Diego. 117 losses, 4th most in history. At San Diego, Angels at home, and then the Tigers. How many will they lose? Let's keep it going. One lose some. The boxer, not having it. The owner a little bit upset. The boxer gets in the car seat. His name is Nacho. Nacho, that's not yours. Look at his face. Well, what's the problem? It's a car seat. He's a big guy, too. Yeah. Boxers are big. That's Nacho. He goes,
Nacho cilantro. Huh?
Right. He's like, no, I'm not coming out. No, you can't be in there. That's for the baby. He goes, no, I'm comfortable. That's going to take a while.
A little big for the baby seat.
That's right. Unless you have snacks, I don't think Nacho's moving. No way. Bad beats. Twins plus 120 and under 7. 2-1 in the 7th. 4-2 in the 10th. The bullpen comes in. Base hit, base hit, base hit. Drive home safely.
Oh, I mean,
it's a joke how bad this Twins bullpen is. Did they just blow it too? We got an update?
Good call by Mike Palm on the game. He said Ober has to go 6 innings plus in that game to get to over 17.5 outs, and he was brilliant.
They lost again.
Yeah.
The number 1 bullpen in baseball shuts them out in the 9th, shuts them out in the 10th, and the Twins just lost again 3-2 and 10.
This morning they were still plus 240 to miss.
Yeah, it's outrageous.
Yeah.
But I'll get more on that coming up. Okay.
I'm going to look right now.
No one knows football like VSiN. For a limited time, get your first month of VSiN Pro for $9.99. Sign up now. Instant access to everything we do. Every best bet, every host, every guest. 19 hours of live programming. The Steve Mackinnon proven betting systems and the betting splits. Monthly subscription, $9.99. Or the entire season through the Super Bowl 175. VSiN.com/subscribe.
I don't know if we're going to have updated numbers as of right now with the games going on, but...
Well, what that means is Detroit is now even.
That's
with the
correct.
Twins' loss. Detroit has caught them. They were 11 back.
Oh, and by the way,
not that long ago.
Can I give you this sneaky big break that the Tigers catch?
Hit me.
Okay, so because Skoo Bowl went yesterday, right? They have the day off today. They play Friday, Saturday, Sunday with a day off on Monday. He's going to be able to go on Tuesday because of the extra rest now, 2 days off in between.
Yeah.
That's only 4 games from now, which means that he can also go one more time after that this year. So rather than getting originally, we thought yesterday was going to be his penultimate start. Because of the break, and they're going to need these games, he's got at least 2 more starts to go.
How about this 11-1 ticket I have? How fast did this change and become real, right? Not only that, Mitch, I'm only 2 back of Kansas City because I got the broom out on them. I believe. I believe in the Detroit Tigers.
Which team is going to miss then? Is it going to be the Twins or would it be the Royals?
How about that ticket? Wow.
This morning, the Royals were plus 630, highest number I can find to miss the playoffs. I think one of those teams will miss. It's probably going to be the Twins the way they're trending right now.
Uh-huh.
Can they get off the mat here in the last 10 days?
They can't. They're defeated. I mean, it's just the bullpen's a travesty.
I think that was the approach, is that you're betting either bet both. Maybe Twins, Royals, split it up a little bit.
I want to get greedy. I want to cash this Arizona ticket too. Or they get a break now with Milwaukee sitting people. But,
very true.
But still, they just lost 2 out of 3 to Colorado. Great schedule tonight. The Mets game's huge. Mets start a 4-game set against the Phillies. I think the Phillies can clinch a playoff spot with a win. But Severino goes. And now...
I don't know how you don't like the Mets tonight.
Yeah. Atlanta just won, too. That was no problem. They had a ton of home runs, and they had no issues there. But really? You're with the Mets? Go ahead.
Yeah, part of the... No, I get it. They are favored for a reason. I don't know if people want to lay that big of a number against the Phillies. However, Severino, he faced Philly his last time out. 6 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned. 5 Ks, 1 walk. Quality start there. He allowed 1 runner fewer in 4 out of his last 5 starts before that. Walker pitched 3 innings out of relief against the Mets in his last appearance. 3 innings overall, 3 hits, no earned. However, on the year, Tejon Walker, 6.29 ERA, 6.34 FIP, 1.63 WHIP. He has been a gas can, and the Mets are rocking and rolling right now.
Yes, they are.
So with this momentum, it's kind of like the Tigers, right?
Yeah.
Do you really feel like betting against these teams at this point? I know the Phillies are right there with the best record in baseball, and the Mets are currently taking money based on what I was looking at earlier today. But I think it makes some sense to bet the Mets tonight.
Cleveland just clinched. Philly winning in. Dodgers winning in. That's just playoffs, not division. Kansas City was $9 before the Twins game, by the way. That crazy. I'm really it's gone crazy with the number, but I think Houston should bury the Angels. Suarez has also been a gas can, and since the trade, the Astros are 8-0 in Kikuchi starts, and he's personally 5-0 with an ERA of 3. Yep. They just swept the Angels as well. So the starters have been who are they throwing in the playoffs? I don't throw Verlander. The starters have allowed 11 in the last 7 games.
Well, here's what it's looking like for Houston, is that no matter how the chips are going to fall for game 1 of their playoffs, they're going to be fine with whoever, right?
Absolutely.
You're going to be fine with Hunter, Brown, Kikuchi, Valdez.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter how the regular season ends.
Right. Blanco?
No question.
Yeah, I'm good.
We're looking at like the best pitching now basically for any team in the playoffs. And the last time Kikuchi pitched was actually a week ago, well, less than that, and it was against the Angels. He allowed 3 earned, but that's fine. It was only on 3 hits, 7 innings, and a bunch of strikeouts in that game as well.
There was a good breakdown on why he's been so hot and successful since the trade, and go in depth, a little hardcore was slider usage, and what he's been doing there really helped out, and his numbers have been sensational. And the team, obviously, the team's winning every game when he's going out there every 5th day. So they were 11-1 to score the most runs.
Okay.
But then Atlanta went crazy. So earlier, but yep, good card, getting interesting. 9 games left. Anything can happen. Detroit now tied. Oh.
Okay, you can always tweet us. I love looking at screen grabs, whatever it is that you're going to send us. At VSiN Live, at Mitch Moss Radio, at Pauly Howard. Great tweet moments ago from Mike, talking about this Thursday night game, which we'll get into more in depth here with Paul Charchian coming up in about 5 minutes. Mike did a screen grab. This is at DraftKings, so the numbers have changed. Have you seen this yet? Total made field goals in the game tonight, 2.5. What the juice is now?
Oh, they have that.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, with these guys, I'm going to say Okay, I'm going to say it's 240.
Minus 180 last week. Keep
Right.
going. Keep climbing the ladder, my friend.
No, we're not.
Minus 425.
What?
Yes.
For 3 field goals?
And guess what 3.5 is tonight as well? Plus 135 in that area last week, too. Minus 135 tonight.
Total made field goals.
3.5 over is minus 135.
Yeah, okay.
Do we get some aggression? Is it time to start betting the unders? 425 now, 2.5 made field goals.
Wow.
Bye-bye. Fantasy Football Hall of Famer Paul Charchian up next. Is this a big week for 49ers wide receiver Brandon Ayuk with no Deebo Samuel?
VSiN's got you covered for the start of the season with our football special. For $175, you'll get access to everything VSiN has to offer. With VSiN Pro, you'll receive daily picks straight to your inbox, detailed analysis on every game, and exclusive data like our betting splits to help you become a sharper bettor. Get all of this for just $175 through the Super Bowl. Or try a monthly subscription and get your first 30 days for only $9.99. Don't miss out on this offer. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe.
The only thing better than football is the excitement of all the contests. Catch the Circa Friday Football Invitational at 9 p.m. Eastern with picks from some of the sharpest bettors around the country. Then on Saturdays at 9, watch the Football Contest Show, where our expert hosts and guests go through the consensus choices for some of the biggest betting contests in the world. The fun doesn't stop there. Visit VSiN.com for the full lineup and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. We're live downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard here on a busy Thursday. And every week at this time, Fantasy Football Hall of Famer Paul Charchian joins the program. He is on the Progressive Guest Line. He is involved with fantasy a lot of different ways, guillotineleagues.com, and Fantasy Football Weekly, the podcast, which is outstanding. It has been now for like 30 years. Charch, good to talk to you again. How are you?
I'm doing great. I've got it. I had one team in the Circa Survivor bit. It's still alive. I shared it with my Fantasy Football Weekly co-hosts. We're amazed to be alive right now. And I'm sure you guys have talked about it. You probably opened the week with a lot of talk about it, but my God, what a bloodbath. Holy cow.
Yeah. I mean, all these dogs winning outright. Forget covering, winning outright. That's a perfect recipe to dwindle, $14,000 pools all the way down to $3,800.
Yeah.
Who'd you use in the first 2 weeks?
We used Chargers, and then last week, I should really know this off the top of my head. I don't remember. No. You'd think I know.
I know. Yeah, what? That's an upset.
Jeez.
What are you thinking this week?
I don't know if I should say. I mean, should I just come on and say?
Well, does it matter? Everybody's losing. Who cares?
Everybody is losing. I don't know. I mean, I feel like, geez, now we're down to what? We got a couple thousand people left in this thing. That's it.
So 3,900. Calm down. Like you think it's
3,900.
Yeah.
3,900 people. I don't know if I just want to come out and say who we're going to take. I'm a little bit nervous about doing that. Let me see if I can I'm trying to figure out who I took here. I feel stupid that I don't know.
All right, we'll get that by. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna in 10 minutes or so, we'll get into tonight's game player props wise and what you like on Sunday. Let's do some fantasy angles here first, and we'll tie it into player props as well. Okay, so we'll begin here. There's no Deebo Samuel for the San Francisco 49ers.
Right.
He eats every single time. Brandon Ayuk does when there's no Deebo Samuel on the field. I will give you this tweet from Dwayne McFarland, FantasyLife.com. Ayuk over the last 3 years without Deebo Samuel on the field, 29% target share, 49% air yards share, 2.92 yards per route run. As he called it, high-end wide receiver number one. So translate that into the prop betting world and also what you think from a fantasy standpoint.
Well, I love him here. And, it's not like he just replaces Deebo Samuel, because what Deebo Samuel does is so totally unique. He's an absolute unicorn. He's not just a unicorn. Deebo Samuel's a unicorn raised grazing on fields of nuclear alfalfa. There's nobody like him. But Brandon Ayuk always goes crazy in these moments because the rest of the offense has to find other places to not only just take the receptions that Deebo doesn't get, but also the runs that he doesn't get need to go somewhere, and they typically go through the air. So I think he goes berserk here. And the Rams secondary, as battered as any already. We've got 3 guys on IR. Darius Williams on IR, Darian Kendrick on IR, and safety John Johnston III also on IR. So, Ayuk on the field for virtually every play last week against Minnesota, targeted in the end zone both games, and starting Rams cornerback Tre'Davious White has allowed a league worst 3 touchdowns already in his coverage. Boom. It's only 2 games. He's given up 3 touchdowns. Rams are giving up the most yards per completion, 14 yards per completion. I mean, everything here says Ayuk goes on tilt with a huge game. Juwan Jennings also startable here. If you need somebody to just pick up and throw a dart at, love Jennings. I don't have yardage numbers on these, but where I'd start to feel comfortable on Ayuk is in the 70-yard range. Feels very comfortable to me. If you were to I think he can go over 70. I think Jennings is going to go over 40 in this game. So I checked their lines. I haven't looked at where their lines are, but that's off the top of my head where I feel pretty comfortable.
First book I'm looking at, Ayuk 72.5, Jennings 42.5. You're close.
All right. Yep. That sounds about right. I'd lean over on both of those.
All right. So I'm interested in this now, in your opinion. What do I do with Miami guys? I would like it if Huntley gets in there, but what do I do with Thompson? And I would think this is a big opportunity for Achane, though, rushing and receiving. What do I do with the Miami guys?
Yeah, Skylar Thompson, non-awful by backup standards. Big arm, low accuracy. And that big arm, he will have some of those signature long passes to Tyreek Hill, or for that matter, just bubble screen to Tyreek Hill and just let him go be special, because he is. Yeah. But we've got 5 data points on Skylar Thompson when he's had to throw 10 or more passes in a game. And a lot of those games, he's coming off the bench cold. So, bear that in mind. And that's not the case here. Tyreek Hill's average game, he drops down to wide receiver 32 in Skylar Thompson games. Waddle drops down to wide receiver 41 on average in weeks in which Skylar Thompson throws 10 or more passes. So we have seen a pretty big dip on those guys. Now, you're going to start Tyreek Hill every week, and you keep starting him here. Waddle, on the other hand, turns into way more of a flex play. And if you don't trust him here with the big drop-off we've seen, which I'd understand, you could take somebody you would never normally start over Waddle, like Jacoby Myers against the Panthers, and go, you know what, I'm going to try him. And I think that would be totally valid here. Running game will definitely get an uptick. A-Chan will get some of it. Mostert, watch Mostert. Everybody's forgotten about Mostert. And his 21 touchdowns last year, there's a real scenario. Mostert comes back here. I would check his touchdown prop. I don't know what it is. I'm guessing it's like plus 350. His touchdown prop might be interesting if Mostert's able to go here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
You ask any question, I'll try to find it live when we're on the air
I like
here.
that. It's very impressive.
As we're doing that, Paul, you've talked about this many times, right? Last year, you wanted to be all in on Thielen props.
Yes, especially with Dalton.
With Dalton, right.
Yeah.
That's the scenario that we get this week. Mm-hmm. Is that the angle here?
Yeah, look, I know most people like Andy Dalton. Is that even an upgrade? But God, yes, it's going to be an upgrade. And I'm going to try to make a case for trusting this Carolina passing game a little bit in this game. Dalton had one start last year. In that start, he threw 58 passes for 361 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Raiders are favored by 7, so the game script is likely going to be crazy pass heavy again. Now, part of the reason I like Dalton in this offense, head coach Dave Canales has got, he couldn't fix Bryce Young, but Bryce Young doesn't fit the model. Dalton does. He revitalizes veteran quarterbacks who have failed with other teams, and that's Dalton too. That's exactly who Dalton is here. Raiders ranked 29th in pass coverage by Pro Football Focus. They rank dead last in tackling. Their cornerbacks, their 3 starting cornerbacks, have Pro Football Focus ranks as cornerback 20, 58, and 68. So I think Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen are flex-worthy starters in fantasy, if only for the garbage time pat statting that we're going to be looking for here. So
okay.
I like both of those guys here. Sneaky plays. I think the bounce back is coming. Dalton just brings like baseline competency to a position where the Panthers have had none for a year.
You blew my mind about a month ago, 2 months ago, when you told me where Marvin Harrison was going in drafts. Yeah. So we're both from Minnesota. We remember Moss as a rookie in '98. So in 7 of the 8 quarters, he has 1 catch for 4 yards. But in the other quarter, he has 4 for 130 and 2 scores. What do you think's in play here for the season and for Harrison?
Really want to believe that Harrison is now that first quarter put him on the map, right? And then defenses shifted and basically tried to take him away, which they're going to do, and then you're going to see a lot of Burton. But I want to believe that this is going to be the Marvin Harrison that we're going to see. Do not compare him to Moss. That is totally out of bounds, especially you as a Minnesotan. You should know that.
Yeah.
We can't do that yet. He's got to earn that. Randy Moss's rookie year was unbelievably special for us here in Minnesota. We're not going to go quite that far yet. Kyler Murray is good enough to feed 2 guys, and it's going to be Burton, and it's going to be McBride, not Trey Burton, Trey McBride, and it's going to be Harrison here. Very optimistic long term. He was going at the end of first rounds, and Marvin Harrison looks like he's going to make good on that. I understand the consistency has not been there, but you got to figure it's coming as he's only 2 games into his NFL career. So,
right.
Still feel really good.
Totally fair. I want to clean up a couple of things here. I do not see Mostert listed anywhere as of right now, probably because
That's
not.
Too bad.
Right, we don't know if he's going to play or not.
Yeah.
And if you shop around, Ayuk is 68.5 at other books as well.
Okay.
Okay. So then in like 90 seconds here, Caleb Williams, it's been a serious struggle for him the first 2 games. Yeah. What do you make this week against the Colts defense?
I think he gets better here now, and it's been bad. And by the way, I got a tweet that came across that's amazing. Caleb Williams is netting 3 yards per pass attempt, which is the worst for any quarterback to start a season in 10 years. It's been bad. CJ Stroud is the Colts are the opponent. CJ Stroud passed with relative ease against the Colts in week 1. Then Malik Willis completed 88% of his pass against the Colts. They were a moronic game plan on defense.
Yep.
DeForest Buckner on IR. Their starting cornerback, Juju Brents on IR. Latu is got a hip injury. He may not play in this game. Indy's got one good cornerback left, and that's Kenny Moore, their slot guy. That's it. I think we're going to see a better game out of Caleb Williams here. I wouldn't put any money anywhere near this game, but I like the opportunity here for him to get better in game number 3. They're going to run a ton, by the way. The Colts' run defense has just gotten hammered in the first 2 weeks. DeAndre Swift might finally get off the schneid here.
Yep. He should. Otherwise, I think they're going to have major problems with him in the backfield, maybe moving forward. It's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Fantasy Football Hall of Famer Paul Charchian. The podcast is called Fantasy Football Weekly. Up next, we'll get into tonight's game. Ramondre Stevenson has been a bell cow for the Patriots so far. Does Charch like him to go off again tonight? We'll ask him coming up here on VSiN.
In the heart of downtown Las Vegas, a sports oasis awaits. Stadium Swim, the ultimate outdoor amphitheater, built for the ultimate sports fan, with a colossal screen that brings the game closer than ever. Reserve a daybed, private cabana, or lounge in the center of it all. 6 pools to dive into as the game heats up. And the best part, there's never an off-season. Open 365 days a year. Stadium Swim, it's always spectator season.
Looking for the ultimate sports betting podcasts? VSiN has got you covered. With a wide range of podcasts covering every major sport, we're here to help you make smarter bets every season. The Baseball Betting Show with Greg Peterson gives you daily insights into finding value on each day's MLB card. And check out Long Shots, where we deep dive into the world of golf betting, providing you with expert insights to help you bet every tournament. Find all of these podcasts and more at VSiN.com/podcasts or your favorite podcast platform.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We continue here with Fantasy Football Hall of Famer Paul Charchian. The website is guillotineleagues.com. Also, the podcast Fantasy Football Weekly. He's on the Progressive Guest Line. We have a game coming up in about, let's see here, 3.5 hours from as we speak. So in this game, Ramondre Stevenson has been a bell cow for the Patriots the first 2 weeks, right? 25 carries and then 21 carries. I bet his prop tonight over 2 days ago at 16.5. Is that a bad bet now as we're looking at two guys being out in the offensive line, maybe four guys missing this game on the O-line for the Patriots?
Yeah, that part does worry me a bit, but he's been great. Nobody really noticing, well, other than you, Mitch, because in the preseason, we all decided the Patriots were awful, and so everybody just sort of like wrote them off as a garbage team. Turns out they're actually okay. Upset win in week 1. They've go to overtime in week 2. Let me give you some stats on Ramondre. Some stat porn. You ready?
Yes.
Here we go. He ranks number 1 in forced missed tackles in the entire league. And by the way, speaking of missed tackles, the Jets have allowed the second most missed tackles, 19 already. That team doesn't tackle. Ramondre is 4th in runs over 10 yards. He's got 6 already. Among starting running backs, he's 4th in yards after contact, almost 4 yards after contact. He is running so well. Jets pass defense, of course, is great. Path of least resistance is absolutely on the ground. We saw the Jets get run through by Jordan Mason in week 1. And then even the lackluster stylings of Tony Pollard. He put up 102 total yards against this Jets run defense last week, and pass defense. That was air and ground. So the line here, you mentioned 16.5 carries. It's 64.5 yards last I looked. I like over on both. The offensive line does keep me enough in check that I would be cautious, but I would still take over on both of those.
The Patriots' run defense has been phenomenal. So what happens with Hall, and what does it mean for Rodgers, and are they going to throw it?
Well, I don't know that they are going to throw it as much. And this Braylon Allen kid, by the way, really good. Breece Hall's going to get a ton of work. He always does. But this Braylon Allen cat, he's big. He's powerful. The 2 touchdowns last week. I think this thing is not going to be as Breece heavy as what we were used to seeing last year when there was Breece and basically nobody. It was more like a 70-30 split last week, and I think you're going to see some more of that. Aaron Rodgers has looked, I don't know, just okay, right? I mean, arm strength looks all right. Passing totals are low, 167 yards, 176 yards, not great. Patriots pass defense has been pretty good too. They hold PFF ranks as 7th as a pass defense overall, 3rd in tackling, shut down Joe Burrow. So, yeah, I feel like I'm waiting on Garrett Wilson to explode.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe it's here. Just he's so good.
Yep.
He's getting just competent passing. I feel like I'm waiting for the Garrett Wilson game to come. Maybe it's this week.
Hunter Henry seems low at 33.5. Don't you agree?
That does seem low.
Yeah.
That does seem low.
That's the guy he's looking at. Okay, very good.
Exactly. Let me hit Breece Hall one more time.
Yeah,
Sorry,
okay.
a couple of things I left on the table by accident here. These teams met in the season finale last year. Bill Belichick's last NFL game. Breece Hall carried the ball 37 times for 178 yards. Should probably mention that. Patriots are allowing the 3rd fewest yards after contact to opposing runners. They're allowing the 10th fewest yards before contact to opposing runners. They're 3rd in yards per rush, just 3.3. So Breece Hall's rushing line number is 61.5. I'm on the under here against a very good Patriots run defense.
What do you have in the Sunday night game with Kansas City, Atlanta?
Can't get this. Stat of the week right here. No team in the last 25 years, which is as far back as my database goes here, no team in the last 25 years has allowed 25 tight end receptions in the first 2 weeks of a season until now. Kansas City has done it. 25 catches to tight ends in 2 weeks. Unbelievable. The average game that Kansas City is giving up to tight ends, 15 targets, 12.5 receptions, 138 yards to tight ends. It's pure insanity. So what's Kyle Pitts at? 3.5 receptions, 37.5 receiving yards. It feels, it's like 1/4 of what they're giving up.
I know.
So, look, Kyle Pitts has burned like everybody, every way imaginable to this point.
Yeah.
But I'm back on board here. If the Chiefs get to be twice as good as they have been against tight ends, he'll still fly past the over on this. And if you're the Falcons, you've got to test the Chiefs and find out if they're going to keep giving up monster games to the position. So I like Kyle Pitts and the over on both the receptions and the receiving yards.
Okay, that's all fair, but you have to promise me this. If he doesn't get there this week, we have to, at least for this year or until he proves us us wrong, we cannot make the case for Kyle Pitts again.
I'm fine with that.
All right.
I can live with those terms.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good terms.
All right.
Good terms.
All right.
Strong. How you feeling in Minnesota here? Vikings 2-0. Jefferson's supposed to play. What do you want to do with Darnold?
Nervous here. And maybe it's because I'm a jaded Minnesota Vikings fan. Anytime anything good is happening, we're just waiting for the shoe to drop.
Yeah.
And it feels like Sam Darnold is the shoe. Houston, a sneaky, great pass defense. Last year, they allowed the fewest passing touchdowns, just 1.1 per game. Only 4 of 17 opposing quarterbacks topped 1 touchdown against Houston last year. Week 1 of this year, they only gave up 9 receptions to Indianapolis. Week 2 of this year, Texans, Caleb Williams totally shut down and stymied. Houston currently ranking 8th this year in coverage by Pro Football Focus. They rank number 1 in sack rate. They rank number 5 in completion percentage allowed. I just think this is a whole different tier than San Francisco was as a pass defense. So I'm taking the unders on everything with Sam Darnold. I'm taking the under 1.5 touchdowns, even though it's minus 175.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also taking the over on the interceptions. His over half an interception, minus 120. I think there could be trouble here. Daniil Hunter going up against Christian Darrisaw is going to be an epic battle on the offensive line. Hunter knows Darrisaw. They practice against each other for years. That could be an advantage for Hunter. So yeah, maybe I'm emotionally scarred by 40 years of being a Viking fan, but yeah, I'm taking the under on Darnold on these metrics.
Does this mean that you like the Texans to win the game here and probably cover then as well? Because what are you going to want to do with their backfield this week? Mixon banged up. No practice again today. Pierce, same thing. Is it going to be an Akers game? Can we trust him?
I think it is. I think it is going to be an Akers game. And I looked at one point to see if Akers had any lines out, and that was yesterday. And at that point, I didn't see any lines for Akers, and there might not be any for a while, or maybe never. I don't know. But he looks like he's going to be the starter. The thing about Akers that's staggering, until Cam Akers, no running back in the history of the NFL had come back from a ruptured Achilles, and had a meaningful career. Then he came back, played for a while with the Rams, played with Minnesota for a while. Then he ruptures the other Achilles, and I'm like, now it's really over for Cam Akers. The career's done. But Akers has come back in the preseason. I'm watching him with Houston in the preseason. Looks great. Got a bunch of run in the fourth quarter last week. Looked good there too. Cam Akers has a decent opportunity, but Vikings run defense is awesome. So all that said, I'm rooting for Cam Akers, but I don't think I'm touching him from a fantasy or betting standpoint.
Very good. It's our buddy Paul Charchian. Guillotine Leagues. He's on the Progressive Guest Line. Follow the money. Pauly and Mitch VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Monday night doubleheader. Sneaky. Lawrence has lost 7 games in a row. What do you expect out of Trevor Lawrence Monday night in a must-win for Jacksonville?
I don't like it. I'm taking the under 233 yards. You can shop this one, by the way. Big variation in lines here, and under 1.5 touchdowns, even at minus 180, which admittedly is a very big number. Buffalo's pass defense is great, right? Rasul Douglas and Christian Benford are the second best tandem of cornerbacks in the NFL behind Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed. Last year, the Bills allowed the second fewest passing touchdowns. This year, they've held 2 good quarterbacks in check. Kyler Murray, Tua. Kyler Murray just 162 yards. Tua had 145 yards in the 3 quarters he played. And to compound matters, tight end Evan Ingram is not likely to play in this game. 9 of the past 10 quarterbacks to face Buffalo have failed to reach this line, 234 yards against the Bills. And the one guy who did was Patrick Mahomes. I can't even put Trevor Lawrence in the same conversation with Patrick Mahomes. So I like a lot of the unders here. 8 of the past 9 quarterbacks to face the Bills have thrown 0 or 1 touchdown. Only Jalen Hurts managed more than 1. And again, he's not in the conversation with Jalen Hurts either. So I'm out on Trevor Lawrence here, and I think he's got a brutal game coming.
All right. Hey man, that was awesome. Love talking to you. The podcast also, where people can get more of Paul Charchian, is called Fantasy Football Weekly, and GuillotineLeagues.com. You guys are going to draft leagues until what week? I always forget that.
I don't know, probably like week 15 or something. Yeah.
Okay.
So, for a long time, you can still join a Guillotine League right now. Private leagues are free with your friends. You can join public leagues with strangers as well.
Very cool. I know that you love TV shows, and it's football season, so it's very difficult for people to squeeze in TV shows. Shrinking Season 2, Apple TV drops October 16th.
Okay.
And
I thought the first one was cute. It was enjoyable. I didn't think there was a lot of meat on the bone. It's a lot of big stars. I wasn't laughing as much as I thought I would.
Okay, I loved it. I thought it was great.
What's you get into Rings of Power? Amazon?
No, I'm not into that.
Okay.
That's my kind of stuff, right? I'm nerdy enough to get into that. I didn't try it, and I don't know. The whole thing looked like a contrivance to me. It hasn't fared very well, I think, by the numbers, right?
Boy, you're negative.
Yeah.
Boy,
I know. What is it with today? I know.
All right, Charch. Great talking to you, though.
All right, we'll talk to you next week.
Be
Bye-bye.
good.
You got it.
There you go. Paul Charchian with this progressive guest line. Up next, best bets in soccer with Steve Wiss. He's going to explain why there was a recent and significant move for Man City to be relegated.
A new football season means a new lineup on VSiN. Start your day with sharp betting analysis on the VSiN